Good.
Good evening, everyone. The time is now 6:02, and I'd like to call this December meeting of the Los Lunas Schools Governing Committee to order. As a reminder, please silence your cell phones at this time. And as we are broadcasting live, when you do come up to speak, if you wouldn't mind removing your mask so that the recorded can hear you as clearly as well. I'd like to welcome everybody for participating in the Governing Committee meeting live, and those that are watching the meeting via live streaming on YouTube. The link to the meeting is always on the district webpage under Board of Education. The streaming will run through the end of the meeting. In the event there is a disruption in the audio portion, I'll pause the meeting until it can be reestablished. We have a full board present with us tonight, and so at this point in time, Dr. Romero, will you announce the meeting?
Yes, Madam President, this meeting has been announced in accordance with the Open Meetings Resolution and is a legally constituted meeting of the Los Lunas Governing Committee.
All right, that brings us to item number 3, the Pledge of Allegiance. Tonight, Mati from Los Lunas Elementary School is here to lead the pledge. Dr. Romero, could you please read the bio?
Yes, I'm really excited to have Mati here tonight. The pledge leader representing Los Lunas Elementary this evening is Mati Shokoyotsen Padilla Sais. He was chosen as the LLE pledge leader because of his excellent leadership and great attitude. Mati was born in Denver, Colorado to Erica Padilla and Leroy Sais. He is 9 years old and is in Miss Chavez's 4th grade class. Mati is part of the Pumpkin Vine Powwow drum group and dance class in Danza Azteca. He also likes Mexican food, playing soccer, and flag football. I like all that stuff too. He enjoys playing video games and hanging out with friends. His favorite class is PE. Mati's teacher says he has great insight for a student his age. He is a leader who is always willing to help other students in need. Mati is a friend to all his classmates and shows enthusiasm both inside and outside the classroom. You can always count on him to do the right thing or own up to his own mistakes. Ms. Chavez is very proud to have Mati as one of the students, and we are very proud to have him represent Los Lunas Elementary.
Mati, if you'll lead us in the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and liberty and justice for all.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Mati, come on up. We have a little certificate for you, as a matter of fact. Thank you. You did an excellent job, by the way. And, oh, this is another one, and there's not enough candy in there. There's never enough candy. You don't like breath mints, do you? No? Okay. If you will go ahead and start by shaking your hands and come on down the line. Go right ahead.
Missy Moya,
Mm-hmm.
can I borrow that certificate from you? I think I'm missing one more thing.
Okay. Well, thank you.
All
Mm-hmm.
right.
Thank you again for doing that.
Thank you.
Good job, buddy. Awesome.
So I need to borrow that.
Can we borrow that real quick for me, huh?
Don't take the candy. Don't give him that candy back.
Take it, just don't let them take it.
There you go.
Seriously?
We found a mistake, so we're gonna fix it and get it right back to you. Is that okay? All right, thank you.
All right, we'll bring it right back to you for the end of the meeting. That sound like the plan? Thank you, Mati. We appreciate it. You did a great job.
All right, that brings us to item 4 on the agenda, the approval of the agenda, actually. Are there any changes or deletions to the agenda, Dr. Romero?
Madam President, no,
Oh, I'm moving on. I'm sorry. Monty's got his candy. We're good. Okay, if there's no changes or deletions to the agenda, I'll stand for a motion.
I move to approve it.
Okay.
She's the teacher.
Mr. Bennett has motioned to approve the agenda as presented, and Ms. Garcia has seconded the motion. I'll go ahead and get a roll call vote. Mr. Espinosa, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Ms. Lewis, how do you vote?
Do you vote yes?
Mr. Bennett, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Ms. Garcia, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes as well. So the agenda items is approved. All right. That brings us to item number 5, the consent items. I would stand for a motion regarding the consent items.
Madam Chair, I vote to accept the consent items except for item 9C and the approval of purchase to build the Robots, Inc. Other than that, everything else I approve for consent.
Okay. Committee members, I'll stand for a second. Ms. Lewis will second the motion. Ms. Garcia has moved to accept the consent items as presented with the exception of item C, approval of purchase, I, Build with Robots, Inc., for Robotics, Disinfecting for LLH, Los Lunas High School, and Valencia High School out of the ESSER funds. Ms. Lewis has seconded that motion. And for the benefit of the audience, the consent items have been reviewed by the committee members individually. Consent items are action items on the agenda, presented by the superintendent and the staff for approval. If no discussion has been asked regarding these items, they can be motioned, basically approved with a one motion vote. At this time, we will vote. Mr. Bennett, how do you vote?
Madam Chair, if I-
Yes.
Just a point of motion, just to clarify, it is it C1? There is a C1 and C2.
I believe it is C1.
Okay,
C1.
just making sure.
C1.
Okay,
Yep. Approval of purchase, item C1, Build with Robots.
okay, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Bennett, how do you vote again?
I vote yes.
Ms. Lewis, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ms. Garcia, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Mr. Espinosa, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes as well, so the consent items with that exception will be approved. All right, moving right along, as a matter of fact, on this agenda. That'll go ahead and bring us to item number 7, the superintendent's report. Dr. Romero.
Thank you, Madam President. We do have tonight a student from Los Lunas High School, Travis Abeta. He's sitting all the way to my far left over there. I'm really excited to have Travis here tonight. Let me get to his bio. It is my honor to introduce Los Lunas High School's December board meeting representative, Mr. Travis Abeta. Travis is a 17-year-old senior at Los Lunas High School. He is the youngest of 4 children, all of whom graduated from Los Lunas High School. Travis is from Isleta Pueblo and is part of the LGBTQIA+ community. Travis strongly believes in participating in Los Lunas High School activities. He's involved in numerous clubs and organizations, including National Honor Society and the Los Lunas High School Student Council, where he is currently serving as vice president. Travis is the public relations officer for Los Lunas High School Senior Class Council and also helps out in lending a pod. Travis is an active member of the Drama Club and is a part of the International Thespian Society. Upon graduation, Travis plans to attend college in New Mexico to pursue a degree in education or the performing arts. So Travis, before we begin, we really need you to become a teacher, and I can't wait for you to come back and be a teacher.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the Los Lunas School Governing Committees, and Superintendent Romero. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you about Los Lunas High School. I am Travis Abeta, and I am a senior at Los Lunas High School. Throughout my time here, I have seen both ups and downs, but Los Lunas High School always grows and improves. Our amazing staff and students ensure there is never a dull moment. With our academics, clubs, and sports, we always find a way to come together and show and spread our Tiger pride. With regard to our academics, this has been a challenging year after not being in person in about 2 years. The pandemic is still wreaking havoc, and it has an impact on students, including mental health and not being the best, trying to get back to normal, and also just trying to be a kid and take time for yourself. Though many of our students are dealing with this, many of our teachers are also feeling this way, which has led to students being late and having a hard time turning in work and keeping up with their grades. But I know that each day we are improving, and we will get back to whatever our normal is and just be our best and try our best. Most students are happy to be back on campus and hanging out with each other. Remote learning is tough, and we didn't enjoy our 2-week remote learning experience from the first grading period of this year. It has caused some stress between us and the teachers. It's hard to be focused on our lessons when we're worrying about friends and family. I know that the Los Lunas School District is taking COVID very seriously and looking at cases and how to prevent the spread within the school, because being back in school has helped many students get that one-on-one that we need. Not only are in-person students doing good, but our digital learning students are doing good and are happy, because for some they are safe from COVID and others just like the change. We also have our APEX students. Our APEX program is credit recovery program. Students have an opportunity to make up credits during school and after school. They are all doing good. Also, our senior class of 2022 is doing amazing and getting ready to graduate in the spring. Whether in person, APEX, or digital learning, we have amazing students here at Los Lunas High School. Our students would not be anywhere without our amazing teachers that inspire and always try their best. It's been a rough year even for our teachers because remote was not easy for them either. But they always kept a smile on their face and gave us hope, which inspired me and looked up to them. We also have some new teachers here this year that I've seen done an outstanding job given the situation they and we are also in. Even though we are learning, we always find a way to have fun and enjoy ourselves. At Los Lunas High School, we have over 10 clubs, including Student Council, Art Club, HOSA, Future Health Professionals, Educators Rising, FFA, Paranormal Club, and JROTC. Our Lending a Paw Club has made blankets for the fire department and helped with the Linus Project, as well as conducting campus cleanup. Our Spanish Club teaches the culture of Latin America. Our Eye of the Tiger Club has been making videos for school activities and also local businesses in the Los Lunas area. Our National Honor Society conducted a major food drive during the month of November, and our Drama Club did an amazing job presenting Frozen. Our Tiger Band has won and earned honors at numbers of competitions. This is just some of the amazing things our clubs have been doing, and I can't wait to see what they have in store for the rest of the year. Not only do we have our amazing clubs, we also have our sports as well. Los Lunas High School students always seem to be in the mix for district titles. Our soccer and cross-country teams did well this year. Our volleyball team earned the district title, and if you weren't aware, our football team were undefeated 13-0 and now 5A state champs. Winter sports are just getting started, with spring and summer activities just around the corner. Let me end here by saying that finals are happening this week and we're getting ready to go on a well-earned winter break. I can't wait to see what our amazing staff and students will do during the next semester. Thank you very much, and go Tigers.
Thank you, Travis. Thank you so much. Members of the governing committee, any questions for Travis?
Not a question, just a statement. An incredible report and overview of the school. We greatly appreciate it. I was just wondering, have you picked college yet? Because you have Lobos and Aggies in this mix, so just wondering.
I've been thinking about either going to NMSU or Eastern New Mexico.
All right, well, okay. They're fine. Good job. Anyone else?
Travis, just thank you very much for being here. Do you know what you would like to teach, or have you thought about it, or just a teacher?
Yeah, I've thought about it, and I love English, so I'd want to teach English and possibly also teach drama.
Awesome. Good luck to you. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Any comments? No?
Thank you.
You did a
Travis,
great job.
right over there to your right is Mr. Baca. He will be calling you soon. We can't wait for you to join the team, especially as an Aggie, so that's even more exciting.
Thank you.
Mr. Tiger, we can't wait to hear what is going on over at Los Lunas Elementary. Members of the governing committee, we've been hearing from schools throughout the semester. Every month we get to hear from a couple of schools. And what they're doing is they're presenting their 90-day plans. And the 90-day plans, for all those out here tonight and listening out there, these are our goals for increasing student outcomes within that school setting. And a little bit to know about the 90-day plans is that we all have a common goal of wanting to improve outcomes for students. But based on the uniquenesses of our schools, sometimes we get there a little bit differently. So we all have the same vision for what we want to be, but these schools know their populations, their communities, and the resources that they have there to be able to get there. So we've been able to see what are those uniquenesses about the schools and what are those goals that they have. Tonight we're going to change up the presentations just a bit because we're coming to the end of a 90-day cycle. And so what we want to talk about tonight is what were those goals? What were the things, what were the time, the resources that we spent, that we felt were important to spend that time on and those resources on? And then what were some of the outcomes of this? What did we learn so far? And this will help us prepare for the next 90-day plan that will start to happen in the spring. So with that, Mr. Tiger, I'm going to turn it over to you, Kenny, to hear what's going on over at Los Lunas Elementary.
Thank you. First of all, Travis, you did a fantastic job, and if you want to come up and do my presentation right now, you're more than welcome to do that. You did a great job. Madam President, members of the Los Lunas School Governing Committee, Superintendent Romero, I want to thank you for the opportunity to speak about Los Lunas Elementary. My name is Eric Tiger. I'm the principal at Los Lunas Elementary, and this is my 4th year at Los Lunas Elementary and in the Los Lunas School District. With me tonight is my assistant principal, Ms. Amy Vitamontes, and I'm going to let her talk about the first 2 slides, and then I'll finish up the slides and then open it up to any questions.
The 90-day plan goals at LLE were to improve student performance in both ELA and math by increasing rigor in our Tier 1 instruction. Our first semester critical actions were to implement district-wide pacing guides into our teachers' daily lessons. We conducted biweekly walkthroughs through our classrooms and provided feedback coaching sessions with all our teachers. Our teachers participated in the Southern Regional Education Board Rigor Framework in early October. And we utilized iStation to monitor student progress and to provide lessons for students in their particular areas of need.
So looking at, as Dr. Romero shared about, we're coming to the end of our 90-day cycle. And so what we do with that is we look at our critical actions, we look at our goals, and really take a look at where we're at as a school. And so these are some of the outcomes that we saw this first semester. Teachers are utilizing district pacing guides during their lessons as evident in the lesson plans. And so that's one of the things that we look at on a weekly basis. Are there lesson plans when we do their walkthroughs? We look at, the utilization of the district pacing guides, which has been very beneficial to our teachers. They really appreciate the fact that, across the district that, we are at the same place as far as our curriculum. Teachers are making adjustments based on student needs. As Dr. Romero expressed, our teachers know the needs of our students. We know that you can't come in there with a cookie cutter approach. And so looking at the pacing guides, each of our teachers are, as they meet collaboratively each week in the PLCs, making those adjustments. There may be certain areas in ELA and math that maybe the students did not get that we need to revisit. And so our teachers are making those adjustments as needed. Both Amy and myself have been conducting walkthroughs and providing feedback. During the walkthroughs, what we're seeing are, really good practices, best practice, such as questioning, which is part of the rigor. We want our students to become critical thinkers. So we're seeing that. We're seeing the questioning, we're seeing student engagement, and we're seeing good use of the technology that we're so fortunate to have in this district, district-wide, with the use of iPads and one-to-one devices. Teachers were providing with training and best practices to implement rigor. And so when we talked about rigor, one of the things that we saw coming from our staff is a lot of us had different definitions of what rigor is. And so what we have worked on the past few weeks is we wanted to develop a school-wide statement about what rigor looked like at LLE, not only for our staff, but for our students. And so this is what we developed in conjunction with our guiding coalition and our staff. Our staff statement is rigor at LLE for education is confidence that our students complete individualized, academically challenged tasks that actively engage students to demonstrate deep knowledge through critical and creative thinking. For our students, this is like an I can statement for our students. Rigor at LLE is that I can understand the how and the why of what I'm learning. I never give up and know that I'm being challenged and will be able to do it. And so we wanted to have just a commonality of what we wanted rigor to look like at Los Lunas Elementary. We want our staff to have an understanding of that, but we also want our students to have an understanding of that. The other things that we've seen this past semester is we're seeing gains within levels on iStation, and students are being celebrated for their improvements. iStation has 5 levels. And ultimately we would love to see students move up in goals or in levels, and we are seeing that. But one of the things that we really wanted to celebrate is we wanted to celebrate movement within each of those levels. And so the first week of each month, our teachers have our students do a progress monitoring on iStation. And each of our teachers have up in their room either a chart or a board where the students can come up. If they make a 15-point gain, they put that up there. We've had some students make 200-point gains, and they put that up there. But we wanted to celebrate with each of our students the progress that they're making. And so that's one of the things that we're doing with and we are seeing gains through iStation and just in our daily lessons. Teachers are using the lessons within iStations to address students' areas of greatest needs. One of the great things about iStation is it really measures where the students might be struggling in reading, also in math. And it has lessons within that they can utilize. And so our teachers are utilizing those on a daily basis to really address our students' areas of greatest need. So our next steps is administrative walkthroughs with feedback sessions. That's one of the things Amy and I have really enjoyed, is just going through the classrooms, just seeing the great work that our teachers are doing. And then being able to have feedback sessions with them, to hear from them, maybe their struggles, what they feel like they're doing well, and just being able to work with them on what those next steps are in the classroom. Promote rigor and provide additional rigor framework PD. When we come back after Christmas break, we are having a district-wide professional development where we'll continue looking at rigor and what it looks like in the classrooms. Monitor student progress and address areas of greatest needs. Develop innovation lab to allow students to experience learning in ELA, math, and science. Again, going back to how fortunate we are in this district to have technology, one of the things that we want to do at LLE is to, we have an extra classroom that we're actually going to use to turn into an innovation lab, or a lab where teachers can take the students in and use technology so that they get to experience learning. Maybe something that they've learned just in science, that they can go in there and experience that. Maybe a concept that they've learned in math, that they can go in there and experience that. And so that's one of the things that we're looking at doing as part of our next steps. So that's where we have been at LLE this semester. That's what our teachers and our students have been doing. And those are our next steps and what we're looking at doing this next semester. So I will open up to any questions now that Amy can answer.
Committee members, any questions? Mr. Tyler?
I do. About the lab.
Mm-hmm.
So, if I understand correctly, it's a space to physically interact with some of the lessons they've learned on the digitally, I guess.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, just an opportunity for them to create because, as you know, and we all know that students have different ways of expressing what they've learned. And so I want to give them that opportunity. It may not just be pencil and paper, taking a test. I want them to be able to express in a meaningful way what they've learned. And so that gives them that opportunity to do that.
Madam President, Ms. Lewis, maybe Ms. Chavez could talk to us a little bit about our innovation lab and what we've done so far and what our plan is as we move forward. Can you give us a quick little summary of just the importance of these innovation labs?
Good evening, Madam President, members of the Governing Council, Dr. Romero. We are going to be rolling out as part of our ESSER 3 grant innovation labs at all of our elementary school sites. We currently have a main innovation and design lab located just across the street at Special Services that was sponsored by the Facebook grant we received during the 1920 school year. We will have a opening of that this coming semester. Because of COVID, we couldn't have a full opening for obvious reasons, so we will be doing a real nice opening for that in the spring semester. We would like that to be the model for the elementary schools as we roll that out. There will be a application process for our elementary schools, more so they will be able to understand what will go as innovation labs. And we'll have those labs meet the needs of each school site. So I know many of our elementary schools are very interested. We are getting ready to roll that out in the spring semester.
Any other questions?
I had a question. Thank you, Madam Chair. How did you get your students involved in that student statement? Was it something that was addressed in their classrooms? Was it something that you did as a school and an assembly? And how do they understand that statement?
One of the things that we've done just throughout this semester is our teachers have been introducing the students to what rigor looks like. And so the students have somewhat of an understanding of what that looks like. We just completed this last week. And so our intention is when we come back after Christmas, to really present that to the students. And what our teachers do on a daily basis is they go over the I can statements, in the classroom. They look at the learning targets. So we want to make this part of what they do, in the classroom, just building up that confidence in themselves, that they may not get it right now, but they will. And so, yeah, we plan on when we come back after Christmas to introduce this to the students and just make this part of their, what they do on a daily basis and their understanding.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any members, any questions? Savannah, any questions or comments? Just one final comment, Mr. Tiger and Ms. Piedmontes. I really appreciate the individuality of the educational process. It sounds like it's a very hands-on, identifying specifically even within the classroom, who is not moving up, who is staying the same, and the reach out and the students and the teachers. So we greatly appreciate that. Did you bring any of your staff with you tonight?
We do. We have Ms. Christy Skinner. There she is back there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's here with us.
Thank you for joining us. We appreciate everything that you guys are doing. This is really looking forward to being able to get on campus and seeing this in action. So we greatly appreciate you guys doing that.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
So you have a great break, holiday break. You
Thank you.
have deserved it. So thank you guys.
Thank you, everybody. Every month, we have so much going on across the district. We're able to get some construction updates. We've got some wonderful projects starting in, right in the middle and even coming to some completion. So I want to turn it over to Tiffany, and she can give us an update on where we're at with the many, many dozens of projects we have going on across the district.
Dr. Romero, Madam President, members of the Governing Committee, it's my pleasure today to bring you excuse me, some highlights of some of our construction projects. As Dr. Romero said, we have many projects that go on throughout the district, some of them small, some of them very large. So we'll highlight a couple today, as well as our maintenance and construction department. So starting out this week, actually today, we had the pleasure of starting the kickoff of our Los Lunas Middle School renovation project that has been the planning for quite some time. So as you can see here, these are all the gentlemen that are working on our project, subcontractors and contractors that will be on our site, moving along throughout this rest of the school year and over the summer break. And so I'd like to thank, first off, the staff at Los Lunas Middle School for all their flexibility and adjustment and moving out of classrooms and into new spaces. I understand that it's quite hard for them to make those changes. And we're just thankful that they've been willing to work with us, as this is going to be an active campus project. So many people are lending a hand, as well as our maintenance crews have helped move a lot of furniture over the past couple days, and as well as the custodial staff, making sure teachers have their supplies moved to their new classrooms. Next, we want to talk about one of the things that the Los Lunas School District was recently awarded was Facility Master Plan Assistance from the PSCOC. So this is something, we're coming to the end of our 5-year master plan, and we're gonna be looking at what we can do for the district in the next 5 years. So this means we'll be going through each site, evaluating the facilities, not just the age of the facilities, but also the projections of what our kids need in the future years to come with the growth of our community. So we're really looking forward to getting this project going and coming up with a new plan in addition to what we've been doing for the district. Next slide is our Los Lunas District Warehouse. We've kind of had a hole there for a while with some retirement and change of roles, and we're pleased to bring you our fully staffed warehouse crew. Isaac has been there with us for a while, and we have 2 new custodians that have changed roles to our warehouse, which is Lisa and Lewis. These are the people that receive all of our deliveries. Everything that we use day to day, they receive it and they distribute it throughout the district. Next, we'd like to highlight some of our general maintenance. Each of our high schools have dedicated, assigned general maintenance crews that are on site all day. They work on anything that comes up as far as an emergency. Our campuses are fairly large. As you have known, I still get lost in them. But these gentlemen here, we have James Padilla and Philip Castillo that are at Los Lunas High School. They're working on leaky pipes, changing lights, things that come up through the day. They had a water line of irrigation have a leak. They're there to fix it. Instead of waiting for a work order to come in, they're there to get it done. And at Valencia High School, we have Kenneth Reese, who's our dedicated maintenance personnel there. He's always committed to help wherever is needed. We give him a call and he's right on it. Here he's putting in safety bollards to make sure the campus is secure to prevent cars from driving where they need not be. And lastly, we want to do an operations spotlight, and that comes to us from the transportation department. And when I reached out to Mark Garcia, he had some wonderful things to say about their staff. A lot of times we forget how vital the bus transportation is in getting our kids to school that don't have necessary rides and parents to drop off, but that they are, these are the staff that are there to make sure our kids are there on time and that they get home safe. And I'd like to read some words that Mark sent in. First of all is Brandon Gonzalez is our bus route specialist. He says about Brandon, Brandon works as our route specialist and has many responsibilities, such as evaluating bus routes for safety, adding and changing bus stops as needed, driver and assistant training, assisting drivers with bus safety concerns. He is always ready to drive a bus when needed. Brandon is leading the charge for transportation and implementing our new bus routing program, which will help us streamline our efforts in safety, bus routing, student and employee management, managing school boundaries, and countless other tasks. His friendly smile and positive attitude makes the transportation department a great place to work. We can't thank him enough for all he does for our students of Los Lunas. And secondly, he'd like to thank Carmen Sandoval. Carmen works as our Secretary 3 and dispatcher. Everyone who has met Carmen knows she has a heart of gold and is by far one of the kindest people you'll ever meet. I often refer to her as the heart and soul of the bus transportation department. As in the case with most secretaries in our district, Carmen can do it all. She takes care of all our transportation employees and makes sure it's a special place to work. These two employees dedicate themselves every day to our students and employees throughout the district. They are both excellent examples of people who live their lives understanding that every person matters, every moment counts. So we'd like to thank them for the work they do for the bus transportation and throughout the district. If there's any questions.
Yay.
Committee members, any questions for Ms. Tiffany?
No, I was at Valencia High School this Thursday and Friday for the winter performances. Kenneth is doing a good job. The pack still looks brand new. It's really nice out there. And of course, I had the opportunity to talk to some middle school kids out there, and they want a new gym. That's Valencia Middle School.
And that's something that we've recently addressed is we'll be starting the new break. We've already contacted some vendors about just making some improvements. Our maintenance staff has already this week kind of taking care of some issues in the wall, taking care of some issues in the locker rooms, just putting new code base to make it look fresh and clean. We're looking at putting new gym wall padding in there and then getting pricing for a gym floor for them to kind of change that Manzano Vista purple that is still lingering in their building.
Yeah, because it sort of still looks like an elementary gym. So, yeah, it'd be nice to get something new in there.
That's excellent. Good job. And any
Thank
comments?
you.
Thank
you.
Ms. Tiffany, once again, thank you. And thank you for spotlighting and showing us the names and the faces of the people that actually do this work in these districts. I mean, they're behind the scenes all the time, and yet it doesn't run without them. So we really appreciate you guys doing that and offering this to us as board members. And you guys do an incredible job, and we're here to support you on that master plan. So let us know what's going on. We appreciate you once again. Thank you so much.
Madam President, members of the committee, just a few more updates that we have. I wanted to just start off by really talking a little bit about some fun that we had this last month when it came to our first annual No Shade November. You can see my beard poking out here. It was a lot of fun. We had numerous people from around the county really participate in this event. And I really have to congratulate Mr. Andrew Seiss. He's over there. And he won our first place in the beard and the mustache. Yeah. And in two hands, he's got two trophies to carry around. And I'm really jealous of him winning those trophies. But I do want to say that today, tomorrow we're going to be able to present to the New Mexico Cancer Center Foundation a check for $620 to be able to give to them to help in their research. Really excited about this. We had a lot of fun, but we also were able to help a worthy cause. So thank you to everybody out there that participated, and we'll do it again next year, okay? I'm coming for you, Andrew.
Great.
Just really quickly, some legislative updates. We're already halfway through December. This is our last week before we go into our holiday break. I first want to say, I'm wishing everybody a happy holiday season. I hope everyone out there gets some rest, spends time with family, and enjoys the time off. Especially our teachers, they have worked so hard. Our food service, our custodians, our maintenance, just everybody is amazing. In this room here, we have many of our leaders throughout the district, our school leaders and our district leaders. And thank you for everything that you do. I really want to express that in front of our community about how much you really mean to this community. And you all need this time off, so please enjoy your families. As we come back though, the spring semester is going to fly by. I know we're already thinking about it. You heard Mr. Tiger talk about what it's going to be like the first day back and some of the training that teachers are going to be able to do. So we're already well into thinking about what semester is going to look like, next semester is going to look like. One of the big items that happen, of course, is the legislative session. To be starting up in January, it's going to be a 60-day session. And so there's a few things I want to just kind of talk about are going to be high priority when it comes to what we're going to be working towards. One is to really sufficiently fund the district, really to retain and compete for school personnel. Across the district, across the state, across the nation, there's a shortage of workers, whether that be a teacher, whether that be a custodian, food service, maintenance, and principals. We are low across the country, so we want to make sure that we here in Las Lunas are able to compete for the best and be able to retain the best, so we're going to be fighting for that. Some of those ideas are going to include really upping some of the minimum wage when it comes to hourly wages. We're also really looking at fighting to increase our minimums when it comes to our level 1, 2, and 3 teachers. So these are some starting points that we have, and we're going to be able to really debate with our legislators and our executive branch and PED over the next few weeks into January and February about what that's going to look like. We're also looking at really modifying the required sit-out period for ERB. So those of you that have retired or close to retirement, you know that as you retire, it is possible to be able to sit out a year and then be able to come back. And then you can come back and continue to collect your retirement, but come back into teaching. It's never been more important than right now. For one, if we look at the very front end, for our teachers going into college and coming out, we just do not have the pool that we used to have even as close as 10 years ago. And so that's worrisome. We know that even if we're able to make some massive improvements, it's going to take some time for our students to go through college, graduate, and then be able to come back into the workforce. But we do have a large population that are either just retired, very recently retired, or very close to retiring. So the idea is to be able to shorten that 1-year sit-out period so it could actually be closer to 90 days. And this would allow that period to happen for a retirement sit-out period, and then really over the summer months have people able to come back. And this is vitally important for us to be able to fill some of the most needed positions. You think of the position that district has, we need it, and we need those people. If they can retire or have retired, we would love for you to be able to come back. And it directly relates to the first bullet point that I have. We want to be able to make sure that we can sufficiently pay people, retain you, keep you, and make sure that you want to be here. The last one we really want to talk about is we go to the front end too for some of our newer teachers coming into the field. They're graduating from college, they get their degree. They have to go through a licensure process to get their teaching license. And sometimes we have an issue with them being able to pass their teaching license. And more times than not, and this has happened, I can think of dozens of examples of this, is that they're unable to pass the reading portion, language arts portion of the test, really because of a second language issue. Very smart, intelligent, high grades, graduated with honors, but they're having problems with some of that. So we're looking at some alternative ways to be able to get their teaching license. So there's just a few examples. of what we're gonna be looking at during the legislative session. A lot more to it. And as we go in throughout the months, I'll be updating the board and the community about what that looks like during the legislative session. Let me stop there, see if there's any questions about legislative session, any thoughts about that, and I have one more item to talk about tonight.
No, just as a reminder, the board will be participating in the legislative session and the lobbying aspect, so, they're the committee, so I'm looking forward to meeting with other school boards across the state to go ahead and voice the need for the financial support and for more employees within the district and how we fund those employees, and then basically to how we can go ahead and make some adjustments to those rules, such as the retirement, so. Because once you get here, we want to keep you. You're very valuable to us. So, and we don't want to have to make it a choice for you. You either retire or not. So,
That's right.
thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Mhm.
Yes, more to come, and I'm looking forward to working with all of you during that legislative session. So that really brings me to the last topic I wanted to come up talk about tonight. I really want to express to everyone also how important these individuals are to my right. We have a wonderful group of governing committee members. They have been very supportive in our district, and I really want to thank each and every one of you for all the work that you put in. You don't get paid for this, but you have a big responsibility. I want to thank you for everything that you do. But I want to single somebody out tonight. So, Ms. Lewis, I want to really talk a little bit about you tonight. I really want to thank you for everything that you've done. Tonight, Ms. Jessie Lewis, she's been with us for the last few months. She's been instrumental in making sure that our district continues to move forward in a positive fashion. She's worked just extremely well with these other members. They've really come together as a team to support each other, but more importantly, support the school district. Tonight is Jessie's last night as a governing committee member, and I'm going to miss you very much. But it doesn't really mean goodbye. It just means that we're going to change our settings a little bit. So tonight, Jessie, we have for you something you can take with you. And this is in recognition of your dedication and service as a member of the Los Angeles Governing Committee. So thank you for all that you've done. Thank you. Can we go take a picture with her?
Yes.
Let's do
I think
that.
you take a picture. You ready? All right. All of us. Yeah, you need to bring your bring your hardware. Gotta bring your hardware.
You're in the center.
Why are you doing the wide angle on it?
Ready? Smile. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, speech.
Speech.
That's hers too.
Ms. Lewis, really, thank you for everything you've done. You have been just extremely important in this community, this school district, and this governing committee. Once we finish up tonight, we have this big, beautiful cake, just really to commemorate all the work that she's done for us, and thank her for the time that she's put in. And it's been a challenge, but you have risen to that challenge, so thank you for that.
And if I may, thank you to all of you, because it's been an honor to serve. It's been a rewarding experience. This district is full of amazing people, and everybody's been so welcoming and wonderful. Thank you. Sad to go, but I'll be active.
Yes, you will.
Thank you.
Absolutely, thank you.
Ms. Lewis, we would like to really, really thank you for stepping up and volunteering for your application. I got to sit with Secretary Stewart as you were interviewed. Her response to the questions were genuine, actually challenging. Her responses were questions to our questions, which shows a deep interest from a parent perspective, from a community perspective, from a financial perspective. She asked questions, dug deep, extremely respectful to the cabinet and the staff. And I just have really enjoyed getting to know you better, and we hope that you will continue an active role with the schools and helping us out in parent involvement and everything. So we greatly appreciate you so much. I'm gonna miss you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna miss you. So, anyone else want to say anything to Ms. Lewis? No? No? You just want her cake and you know. Okay.
Madam President, that concludes my report tonight, and if there's any other questions, I can stand for any questions.
Any questions? All right. We only have one more item to address and before we can go ahead and adjourn and enjoy some cake, and that would be the approval of the consent items. On item 9, and basically C, approval of purchase for Build with Robots, Inc. for robotics disinfecting units for Las Lunas High School and Valencia High School out of the ESSER 2 funds. Dr. Romero, can you tell us a little bit more about that project?
Thank you, Madam President. This is really an exciting opportunity for this district, and it really is an example of us coming really into the 21st century to be able to make sure that we are keeping our schools safe, ready for student learning, and do it in a way that's efficient and unintrusive as possible. So for that, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Sermon. She's going to talk to us a little bit about this really kind of unique and exciting move forward when it comes to our schools.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the Governing Council, and Dr. Romero. I really am excited to be able to request approval for the purchase of 2 robots, cleaning, disinfecting robots, and 3 handheld disinfecting units that we are going to utilize throughout the school district. We've strategically selected Los Lunas High and Valencia High. They're our largest campuses. They also house the largest population of students and staff, and unfortunately have some widespread COVID issues that have gone on at several of our campuses. These robots, they're trained so that they're programmable so that they can go in and out of the classrooms with really very little interaction, but they do require some human involvement, like they can't open doors, that type of stuff. So they'll be maneuvering their way throughout the campus, disinfecting rooms at a really, really fast rate. So we talked about the shortage of staff and the continual spread of COVID. These are 2 issues that we were pretty strategic to try to figure out how we can help the situation. One robot can disinfect 100,000 square feet in 1.5 hours. So that's pretty amazing considering it likely takes several people going in and out of the classrooms throughout. Our custodial supervisor, Joseph and Andy, they actually had a demo set up at Los Lunas High. They were able to actually see and work with the robots. They're excited. The robotics company is out of Albuquerque, and they work with Sandia Labs. They're really excited for us to be the first major school district. They did have a couple of small districts that they're doing business with, but we would be the first large district in the state of New Mexico. They're currently at the Albuquerque Sunport and the Houston International Airport, so they're gaining a lot of popularity in the airport and hospital business and stuff. So we're really excited. Any other specific questions that I can answer at this time? Let me just mention one thing. The little handheld units, they are going to assist our COVID cleaning team. So right now, when we do have COVID cases at the other school sites, we will be able to take the mobile unit into a school and disinfect the classroom and office area or specific area of the school. So they will be available to all of the schools. The little robots will be housed at the 2 high schools because they're not as mobile as the handheld units.
So on these, Claire, so once you can go in right after them, right? I mean, once it's done, it's snow, you don't have to worry about it, the air
Right,
doesn't
it's
clear out.
the chemical fogs, the mist into the air, and it's really safe for people to be in and around the area almost immediately after the disinfectant. And because it uses a fog penetration type thing, it gets into fabric, it cleans into those little nooks and crannies that are, pretty labor intensive if you're having to get into all of those areas. It also helps with the air filtration systems because it actually rises into it, goes into the HVAC units as well. So we're really excited to kind of see if we can actually track, that we have a reduction in the spread of COVID in those school sites.
Right.
And I think that would have been my question, Madam Chair, is how, I guess in order for us to know the effectiveness of it, I guess we just, from here on out, when we get back from Christmas break is what I'm understanding, right?
Right.
Then we would know just by positive tests, or do you have another way of determining the effectiveness part of it?
That's how, I think that we can work with the company. They're really interested in being involved in the curriculum and helping out with the school sites and educating the kids on the robots themselves. But yes, since we do have to track the COVID cases and keep track of all that stuff anyway, it'll be interesting to see the effects of hopefully reduction in spread.
Thank you, Carl.
Madam Chair, Ms. Garcia, so this is one example of many mitigating efforts that we have to be able to reduce the risk of COVID. We have learned over time about how to quickly and efficiently clean our classrooms and learning spaces. This is just going to add to that. Along with that, we have many other mitigating strategies to be able to do that. Mr. Baca, he's been instrumental in working on many of these mitigating strategies. Some of these things that we'll continue to be able to talk about, test to stay, really working with our leaders to make sure that we are catching things as quickly as possible through contact tracing. A lot of these efforts all together combined. So the ultimate goal is to be able to reduce any kind of transmission with that. Our goal will be able to do that. We do have some data. We've had many positive cases throughout the district. We've had many cases when it comes to contact tracing. Our goal is to be able to reduce as much as possible as we move in this spring semester. Mr. Baca, anything you want to add to that? Just real quickly, if there's anything you want to be able to say that maybe a sneak peek of what's to come with some things that we have working on in the spring?
Thank you, Dr. Romero. Madam President, members of the Governing Committee, and committee members. So as Dr. Romero said, I think our district has been very forward-thinking the way we've handled this. Although we have had cases of COVID, our response to that, the way that we've identified that, working with our care rooms, with our nursing staff, our health staff, we have been able to maintain it and really, get ahead of some of the cases of COVID. We have had some cases, but really compared to districts our size, we're doing very well. And I want to thank all the staff that's doing this, all the teaching staff, custodial staff that's doing that. It's ever changing, it's evolving. As Dr. Moore said, it's kind of, just when we think we have everything figured out about COVID, it changes. And so I want to assure the public and our community that we are always looking for ways to stay above it. One of the things that we're looking at for the spring semester is actually a new thing, working with Premier Medical Group and the test to stay, test to play. So right now, under our current guidance, if we have a person who is exposed or in direct contact with a COVID-positive person, we automatically have a quarantine of 10 days or more, depending on the symptoms. Under this new program that's going to be coming out through the state, we'll actually give people that opt into that an opportunity to be tested at no cost to them, and if they are negative on, numerous days, day 1 through 5, they do not have to quarantine. It's a modified quarantine, and so that's going to be good. I know that when students are staff are having to be quarantined with a direct exposure, it's problematic. So with this program, we're hoping, just like this, keep our doors open, keep more of our students and staff healthy, and keep more of our students from having to be quarantined at home. So that's a little preview. Again, thanks to our staff and Dr. Brown for his support as well. So.
Thank you. Committee members, any questions? Claire, we want to thank you. The owner of the company actually performed a presentation. Andy had set up a presentation for the Finance Committee to go over those robots, how they work. We love the idea that these were basically manufactured, developed scientifically here in New Mexico, manufactured here in New Mexico. And so they're excited to be rolling them out to a school district in New Mexico in their backyard. And so the availability of them, they went through the chemicals, they talked about the filtration, that basically it actually helps clean the air filters as well. So there's some really, really great value to this. And again, beyond COVID, this is an opportunity for cleaning, deep cleaning in our classes. So thank you, Ms. Searmans, and thank you, Mr. Baca, for that information on the test to stay, test to play. This is more to come on that. So at this time, I will stand for a motion on consent item 9C.
Madam Chair, I move for approval of consent item C.
I have a motion by Ms. Garcia to approve the purchase of item 9C, Build with Robots, Inc. for robotics disinfecting units for Las Lonas High School and Valencia High School out of the ESSER 2 funds. I'll have a second.
I'll second.
Mr. Espinosa will second, and we'll go ahead and take a vote. Mr. Bennett, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Ms. Lewis, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Ms. Garcia, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Mr. Espinosa?
I vote yes.
And I'll vote yes as well, so item 9C approval is approved. Thank you guys for that. All right. My goodness, that brings us to the end of the meeting so quick. All right, you guys. This brings us to the announcement of meetings as allowed by the Open Meetings Act and the District Open Meetings Resolution. On occasion, a quorum of committee members attend the same functions, including those held at school sites and at the district level, as well as sports functions, conferences, workshops, and trainings. Committee members will refrain from discussing and/or acting on Las Lunas Committee issues in those settings. In addition, only official meetings are published, and if other meetings are scheduled, they will be announced in accordance with the Open Meetings Act. Just as a reminder, Las Lunas schools will be closed for winter break, December 20th through the 31st, and the students will be returning back to school on January 4th. Can you believe this? The word 2022. As a reminder as well, everyone is invited to stay for a reception and to honor Ms. Lewis. We really appreciate come and say hello to her, get to know her better if you haven't already. And so please stay for that reception. And with that being said, I'd like to announce the following meetings. On January 4th, please join us for the swearing-in ceremony. That'll be right here in Central Office Boardroom at 6 p.m. We will also have a special meeting on January 4th in the Central Office Boardroom. This is board reorganization at approximately 6:15. January 11th, we have a Finance Committee in the Central Office Boardroom at 9 a.m. And we will have our regular meeting on January 18th, 2022 at the Las Lunas Schools Governing Committee regular meeting, Central Office Boardroom, again at 6 p.m. I would like to, at this time, I want to wish you guys a safe, happy holiday season. Be careful out there. Enjoy, rest, appreciate your loved ones, and please stay and help us finish that cake because I believe there's plenty of it. And at this point in time, I'll stand for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Mr. Espinosa did, and I'll get a second.
I'll second that.
Mr. Bennett will second. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed?